We're ready.
All right.
Let's bring up Mr. and Mrs. Moonshine.
You got it. You ready?
You guys ready to come up?
I will pass out these. While these are being passed around, did you want to tell a little bit about your company and how you started and what you do?
Come right up in front of the camera. You do have real names besides Mr. and Mrs. Moonshine.
Yeah, Mike and Robin, and we've had
Robin, come on over.
Come on, Robin.
You want to do that?
She's talking about the cookies.
Okay, well, we'll let them talk, lady. Talk about the cookies. They're going to eat them before we get there.
We have a cookie company that we started in Knoxville, Tennessee about 8 years ago called Moonshine Mountain Cookie Company. We actually do infuse moonshine into some of our cookies, although some people are disappointed when I tell them that the alcohol bakes out, so they're not adulterated and they're safe for the kids and everything. But we did that really to get a lot of attention and get people to try the cookies. But we've been making the cookies now, like I said, for 8 years. We've probably got 15 or 20 different flavors. We ship all around the country. And Robin is the one here who came up with our base recipe and is the brains behind all of our new flavors that are coming out. And Steve had asked me when we come down here if we bring some of our cookies so he could try, I guess, in your vanilla ice cream maybe? Is that in his famous vanilla ice cream. So today, are we going to be using the sugar or are we going to be using
Me and Chrissy are deciding. We're either going to do the chocolate con, which is a quadruple chocolate, kind of like a brownie cookie, or we've also got a sugar shine, which is kind of, might get more like a cake batter flavor. So I don't know. We'll see. We also have some cookies for y'all to try later if you want this.
One of the things that's kind of unique about our cookie, if you taste it in the batch of ice cream, is that we blend flour and oats together. So it's not just a straight flour cookie like most cookies are. Some of the oats are whole, and some of them are ground up into a flour themselves, but it gives the cookie a lot chewier, meatier taste. So we've never made the ice cream with it, so we're excited to see what it tastes like.
Strike the part about sharing the cookies with you later. Our office manager and my wife, Paula Thompson, has already claimed them. We have a safe made in 1910, and they're already going to be locked up in there. But enjoy the ice cream. This may take a while. She's going to have to try 2 or 3 cookies.
So if we do chocolate con, we can add chocolate powder and some chocolate chip morsels.
Okay.
If we do this, we can add white chocolate chip morsels that we have. Your choice.
I go for white chips.
So you want to do sugar?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, sugar cookie it
We'll
is.
do the sugar shine.
Great.
All right,
I'll get
take it
white
away.
chips.
Oh, you're going to do
Jeff,
that?
I replaced your white chips and got
I'm
more.
going in circles over here. So first, let me get my stuff out of the way. We'll get in there. All right, so we need 3.5 quarts of mix.
Hey, Christy.
You're not going to help?
Oh, I was going to let the queen take care of it.
Okay.
No, I mean, it doesn't matter.
Christy. These are chocolate, and these are not white. These are butterscotch.
There's more over there.
Oh, good.
There's 2. There's,
Thank you.
Yeah, there's
Perfect.
2 open bags. That'll do.
Oh, okay, I'll take it.
That'll be fine. All right, so like Jeff said, we're going to grab it like this. You're going to pop this off and you're going to pour. So this is your 4-quart line.
Okay.
Did Jeff, did you go over about how you keep your tub this way?
Yes.
Okay. So you're going to keep it this way and you're going to pour it. It's about 3.5, kind of eyeball it.
Which machine are we using?
CB350.
Oh, you didn't want to make a larger batch?
We can't. Well, you got to take the cap off.
Okay.
Oh. I thought you just pop it, yeah.
Yep. And then just eyeball 3.5. A little more. There you go. That's good.
So the CB350, you put in a minimum of 3.5 quarts of liquid. You can go up to 4 quarts.
He's going to do it this one, right?
No.
We switched and we're going to do that one. So you'll be all clean for your
Okay.
next batch.
So you're going to take it And as Jeff had mentioned, I'm going to let you do it. So the easiest way I found is holding it. You want me to do it? Or you want to try?
Go right
it?
ahead.
You don't want to try?
I don't care. Yeah.
Okay, so the easiest way is to hold it under here.
Okay.
Don't put mouth.
Go
cup.
high.
Yep, I'm going to stay high. Okay.
Am I okay going this direction?
Whichever
Yeah.
way you feel like you can pour. Look at that.
See? Easy. We found that if you rest the bucket on the machine itself, it tends to spread out, and now you get a little mess.
Very good, very good. Alrighty, so next, where's your cookies? Here we are. Let's get these out. She's got them all nice and pretty. Let me get a little... Here.
These are just the Nestle Toll House chips.
Put them in there.
Anybody know where the name Toll House came from? 1937, I think
We're
it
just gonna
was.
break
There
them a
was
little bit.
lady who
Don't have to
invented
crumble them too
somebody
much,
actually
because the
invented the
machine will
chocolate
do
chip
it.
cookie. And she did up in Massachusetts, and they owned the Toll House Inn. And that's where they first sold their cookies, and that's where the name Toll House comes from.
Okay, so she's got her cookies broke up. We don't have to... Go ahead.
That's kind of what the pictures look like. I mean, they're kind of
Big.
raised. They're not flat or anything.
They're beautiful.
So we don't have to break the cookies all up completely because the machine's going to do that for us. So the beauty about it is it's going to actually taste like a Moonshine cookie ice cream. So, you know, a lot of other competitors of yours, when you open your store, they're really going to be serving a vanilla ice cream with like cookies folded in it. Being able to put cookies like Oreos and Moonshine cookies right into the machine, it's going to blend in with your mix to truly make, you know, your Moonshine cookie ice cream. All right, so you're going to hit the rotating ET logo, make ice cream, homemade, and start.
How
So
much
this
is, Christy, how much of Steve's vanilla do you want?
A couple ounces, just 2. Not much. Alrighty, so we've got this going. So you're gonna go ahead and turn on your freeze here. And we're just gonna start putting in, just start putting them in. Yep, and just kind of peek up there and make sure they're going down. Here's this if you need it. Oh, right there. Just don't stick your fingers down in there. It's kind of fun, isn't it?
Yeah. It's kind of cool. What's going on?
And then
The vanilla is made by Lockheed, Lochhead. They're a vanilla company that only does vanilla.
see.
That's why I use them.
Ooh, we can add some more cookies.
Over the years, I've sold so much vanilla for them because we're looking out for the very best for you. That they actually they took flavor number 103A and called it Steve's Special Blend. So we have that information. It's at the website, but we can tell you who to talk to. Darren over there at Lockheed. You mention Emery Thompson or Christy Brown or Steve Thompson. They'll give you the best price right up front. But this is a special blend, and it's really the best vanilla I've ever used. It's a world of difference between using something that comes from the supermarket.
in your blue folder, there is Darren's contact name and or email in there that you can reach out to him, plus a sheet about their information about the vanilla. So Steve kind of briefly mentioned it earlier. So we're adding the cookies now, and then you can add some more a couple minutes into the batch. When you're working with the larger machine, like a 24 quart, you definitely can, add 2 more pounds of cookies halfway through the cycle because it's so large and big enough to do so. Working with the little guy, you kind of have to, because it's expanding a little bit more, so you want to go ahead and put your cookies in. Now, if it's something little like a chocolate chip, we're going to let this freeze and get just a little bit more firmer before we add in our chips. Because they're so tiny, what's going to happen is you're going to have a little, probably about a handful or so that kind of sink to the bottom of the ice cream. So you want to wait it for a little bit more, a couple minutes, gets a little thick. We're still kind of in the soupy stage, and then we're going to dump this in, and that's pretty much it. And it's as simple as that. We'll wait a couple minutes. Do you want to talk anything else about your cookies?
How do we buy them?
Yeah.
You can buy it, obviously, if you come through Knoxville, Tennessee, we have 2 stores there, so you can come there, and then we ship all over the country. So, this gentleman said he's from Oregon. I mean, we ship to Oregon all the time, California, we ship to Hawaii, we ship to Alaska, we ship to Maine, I mean, everywhere.
What's the website?
It's moonshinemountaincookies.com, and you can order any different flavors, different packages. Everything gets there within 2 days from the time we ship. We just, unless UPS is all messed up. But we try to make it to where we just pay the extra to get them there fresh for you, because they don't have preservatives and stuff in them, so they're a soft and chewy cookie. So yeah, like I said, we brought some sea salted caramel that we have a few we can share. We'll cut them. But we can share those with you guys.
So that's Moonshine Mountain Cookies.com. Cookies plural. MoonshineMountainCookies.com. Great.
Yeah.
And you know, like when we were going over which cookie would be best, so I tried the Chaka Khan, that's I said it right, right? And I could dissecting it to see what was in that cookie. And you can do that with any of her cookies, any cookies you buy off the shelf, and even a cake, your favorite cake. When you're eating it, you can dissect it and see what's in it. Is there brown sugar? Are there almonds? Are there nuts? Is there frosting in there? So you can even disassemble the cookie or cake and go ahead and put those same ingredients into the machine and make that ice cream. So you can put chocolate powder, you can put oatmeal, you can put, brown sugar, you can do all kinds of things. So finding your favorite treat or dessert. That's how I come up a lot with mine. My favorite alcoholic drinks, I turn into an Italian ice. My mom's desserts and pastries that she's made, I've made into an ice cream. I think we're pretty good. Oh yeah, so you want to go ahead and, yep, you want to go ahead and pull back.
Do you want some more after that?
Nah,
Okay.
I think it'll be all right. Look at that. Isn't it fun watching it just go.
Now you can't do this with any other machine because even though it looks like a large opening, it narrows down to something about like that.
So you can give her a
Because
closer up and we'll
I
put
think
her
the
down
reason
to
is
freeze up.
because their beater that's in there, we call it the old-fashioned term, dasher, that's spinning around, is so lightweight that they're afraid that nuts or cookies or candies will damage it. So they narrowed it down to where you just can't put them in. You can only put in liquids and extracts. We throw in everything into the machine, which gives you, as Christy said, a much, much better flavor because for every particle of vanilla ice cream, there's a particle of cookie next to it. I helped put Haagen-Dazs in business. My father did Ben & Jerry. My grandfather did Breyers, Bluebell, Hershey. They all started as ma and pa businesses. And when they went to large machines, what's called a continuous freezer, 1,000 gallons an hour, they had to modify their formulas to where now Haagen-Dazs strawberry ice cream is vanilla ice cream with a $40,000 machine at the end of it injecting strawberries into it. It looks like strawberry ice cream, but it's vanilla with strawberries. With our batch freezer, for every particle of vanilla ice cream, there's a particle of strawberry next to it. So the taste is going to be much more intensive. That's why we call it homemade.
You could even put like a
We used to
couple
get,
drops.
we were stuck for many, many years selling an ice cream cone for $2.25. The fear was if we went higher, people would say, oh, we're not going to go out to Jeff's Ice Cream Parlor. We're going to go buy Breyers at the supermarket. It wasn't true then, and it isn't true now. The millennial age group and below changed the industry 10 years ago dramatically to where people demanded better quality. Instead of me opening up a can this size called a number 10 tin of heavy gloppy strawberries with red dye 40 in it and tons of preservatives, I go to the supermarket now. It was Jeff's idea. Do your shopping at the supermarket and buy frozen strawberries in bags. You thaw them and just throw them right in the machine. You've got the freshest ice cream in the world. The cost is higher, but we're getting $5 average across the United States for a scoop of ice cream. And people are happy to pay it, and pint sales are through the roof. We're getting anywhere from $9, $10, $11 a pint, and the customer will always buy two. I can't come home with my mint chip, and Paula says, well, where's my coconut? So I better show up at home with 2 pints. So it's just, the business is just getting bigger.
So we're going to talk about how do you know when the ice cream is done. So we do what we call a cutoff check. Right now we're at 7.5 minutes. Your very, very first batch of the day is going to take a little bit longer than the rest of your batches after that because your machine was warm, your cylinder was warm, so every batch after that will take a couple minutes less because it's nice and cold. So a cutoff check is where you open and close the gate. See how it's running and still kind of soupy? We're not done. We probably got about 2 or 3 more minutes before it'll be ready. When we get to that point and you open and close the gate, it's gonna cut it off and kind of like plop into the pan. I like to pull mine a little bit more on the thinner side, not thin like that, than some other people do. And the reason is, I think Jeff kind of touched about that a little bit, is when it goes into your container, it's filling it up evenly instead of having air pockets and you're going to the table and you're kind of trying to hit it and smack it down, get those air pockets out. So it definitely fills up your container a lot better. Now, sugar content. So we added a lot of sugar. We added chocolate chips and we added cookies that have sugar sprinkles and sugar in it. So it's science. The more sugar you add, the longer it's going to take to freeze. If we were to just make plain old vanilla, that could take about 8 minutes. Once you start adding sugar, in other words, cookies, chocolate chips, vanilla extract, that's an alcohol and a sugar, you're starting to increase your batch times. So if you dump a whole mess of sugar in that machine, like I make an orange Italian ice, it's orange juice and sugar. It's diabetes in a cup, pretty much, It's straight 100% orange juice and 2 pounds of sugar. That is it, no water. That can take me about 18 minutes to freeze. But it is oh so good. Very, very good. When
Jeff made the ice cream just before this one, mathematically, I'm always working it out. I believe making ice cream is mathematical. And I'm looking at it and saying, okay, 8 minutes for what he's starting with, and now he just added a whole bottle of Tyranny syrup. First ingredient has got to be, yeah, there it is, pure cane sugar. And then he grabs my very expensive what was it, the maple syrup instead of Mrs. Butterworth's. So I'm already up, let's see, 8 minutes, normal, 9. Oh, you didn't add the syrup to the ice cream? Okay. Okay, so he stopped at this, so we're looking at 10, 11 minutes because of the higher sugar content. What you add afterwards doesn't matter. When we do Italian ice, sorbet, sorbetto, Italian water ice, that's 2 ingredients plus flavor, sugar and water. So that high sugar content, we're up to 13 minutes on this machine, 17 minutes on this to make Italian ice. Not because there's anything wrong, but as like Christy said, you've added so much sugar to the formula. So that goes into your planning and calculations.
Mm-hmm. We're still gonna go probably, let's check and see if it's changed any. Definitely got a lot better in a 2 minutes, I think it took. So we're at 10.5 minutes. That's about expected for the first batch. We'll probably let it go for another minute-ish. Does anybody have any questions before we extract? No?
I succumbed a few years ago to putting a timer into the machine. I was very much against it. It's there now. I still don't even use it. When I set up Universal Studios to make frozen lemonade back in the late 1990s, they had the best setup at all. They had 5 of our biggest machines, which aren't on the line here, making the product. And they had a huge klaxon tied to each machine. Like an old World War II submarine movie. When the klaxon goes off and everybody goes, dive, dive. That's what it sounds like. What it did was it allowed the ice cream operator, instead of standing here going, isn't this nice, they're over here washing out their tubs, they're getting their flavors ready. The klaxon is set for 2 minutes before they think the product will be ready. It goes off and they go, hey, I got to get back to the machine. And it worked very well. I still personally use a $9 kitchen timer. And if it's going to take 8 minutes, I set it for 7. And I can be doing other things. The bell goes off and I go, oh, let's go back and check the machine. Just like when my wife Paula bakes and it's going to take 24 minutes to bake a pie. It doesn't mean it's ready in 24 minutes. 24 minutes means she goes back and checks it and says, okay, that's done, or the ingredients were different, I'm not happy with it, I'll let it go a little bit. You can't successfully totally make it, AI and computer generated making ice cream. There's still art to it, whereby you're deciding when it's ready. And if you're a minute this way or a minute that way, it's not going to have anything to do with the texture. The texture is in the process of the machine, not in how long you run it. So It is a simple process, and you get going on it, you're not going to believe how much fun it is. Yes.
The question I have, if I do a cheesecake, the cheesecake had a cheesecake and a pie crust, do I add in this phase, or do I add after, or do I add half pack?
I didn't hear
Cheesecake, ice cream.
What about cheesecake?
Where do you put it in?
She said, do you add it in this phase
Oh.
or do you add it in that phase like a swirl or half and half?
Jeff actually had a brilliant idea. Jello makes a no-bake cheesecake. It comes in a box, and it has a powder packet and a graham cracker crust packet. Use that packet straight into the machine with your ice cream mix. It makes the most fantastic cheesecake. If you want to use real cheesecake, you obviously can do that too. You just cut it up and shove it in the machine. You want to put it in there with the mix first. You don't really want to add that after, because it's, once again, just going to be vanilla ice cream with cheesecake folded in it. We want to have true cheesecake ice cream. All right, so I think we're ready. You want to do a cutoff check real quick? Open, close.
Not enough.
That's good enough. So what we're going to do now, all right, so you're going to turn off your refrigeration. Okay, we wait for that to kick off, but you don't have to. You're gonna lift this up, and you're gonna take your pan, and you're just gonna do that. You can leave that open.
See how fast that comes out?
do what?
We want to
You
get
don't have
the
to
product
wait.
out fast so it's consistent. If it takes you 3 minutes to get it out, it's like broiling a steak. If it takes you 3 minutes to get that steak out, the last part of the
pans.
steak is going to be burned. So it's critical to our machines. We want it out of there quickly.
And then open it back up, and you can get the rest of it. Yeah. You want to help her with the rest of that while I do this?
Yes.